Welcome, this is Nathan and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are going to continue taking a look at scenario where civilization restarts. Anyway, in the last video we saw a conclusion of World War... What's up? World War? I don't remember, was that the peace treaty? No, it was the peace treaty. Oh my god, I thought the war ended and then I did the peace treaty. I'm getting confused with the war of... Getting confused with the Asian clash. Okay, so today we are taking a look at what happens after the War of Freedom, World War IV. Mostly, the countries that have been released. Also, I did do this. I'm probably never gonna get a new map up again. No, that was pain. Oh, God. You should not exist. You were annexed, so bye-bye. Anyway, ignore that. Today, we're going to continue taking a look at scenario where civilization restarts. Taking a look at this to begin with. As you can see, I think I got that. Okay. I know there were some dictatorships, but I feel like at this point those dictators would have either died or be kicked out of power. It wouldn't be so big to even discuss it, because it was the middle of World War IV that happened. As you can see, we still have the fascist countries in Brazil, Australia, and then... Oh, I completely forgot to do this one. My bad, I should have actually done that. Yes, this country is still fascist. They're the only fascist country in Europe. Yeah, we are! I don't know how much longer they're gonna last, but... I don't know how much longer they're gonna last. But, you know, they're still there. We still have the two communist countries in Asia. Now, I might be wrong, but was Burma a communist country? I'm gonna have to check back, but I don't think Burma was a communist country. Obviously, you have Mesopotamia, who's a democracy, and all the other guys who are democracies. But in today's video, we're going to see, the aftermath of World War IV. To begin with, the fascist world is hurt. India, the chocolate team, the burgundy team, and... Well, actually, there's nobody else. Oh, well, I guess the cyan team, but... Oh, but the pink team and Turkish, but... Okay. What I'm trying to say is the fascist world, or the fascist bloc, has lost a ton of power and members. The fascist bloc is down to 3 countries, and we're not out of the age of, people wanting to change the governments, so that it's very likely countries could still switch. And Red Australia kind of sees this, and they're like, they're scared. It has been a couple of months since World War IV ended. They got out scot-free. They took Green Australia, and Red Australia is worried. They're mostly worried that Mesopotamia and the other countries that were involved in World War IV are going to do another coalition to get rid of the final fascist countries. No, they're not going to do that. They're rebuilding. They just took down a ton of countries. Right now, actually, to be fair, Mesopotamia is more focused on figuring out where the Lion Team got those nukes. Because, they're not nukes, but in this world they're kind of seen as nukes. World War III was not a fun war for anybody. World War III was not fun. So, Mesopotamia's gonna come over to the Lion Team. It's like... Can you explain where those bombs came from? And again, the Lion Team doesn't do anything, they just don't respond. And Mesopotamia's like, where did the bombs come from? And again, the Lion Team does not respond. It gets to the point where Mesopotamia, or the president, he actually threatens to use military action on the Lime Team, which definitely does not go well with his people, because, World War IV just ended, and, the Lime Team hasn't technically done anything yet. Yes, I guess they nuked. I guess they dropped bombs and deleted 2 cities off the face of the earth, but, I don't think many people care. It dealt with the fascist countries, and it helped win the World War. But they're just coming out, this leader wants to figure out how the Lime Team, or they're not the Ottomans anymore, how the Lime Team had got hold of a weapon like this. But as they're asking him, the leader, who was the one who dropped the bombs, resigns. He's out. He's out of office. He just says, "I'm out," and leaves. A new leader comes in. She has no clue about the bombs, and she's basically useless. So the Mesopotamia wants to learn anything about those bombs. They're going to have to infiltrate the Lime Team, which might not go down well with the world. So they're not going to do it. Anyway, we're not leaving too far away from here, because we're going to come up to Russia. Russia has been gone for about 10 episodes now. And these countries really haven't done anything. The Purple Team has. The Purple Team's definitely moved on from Russia. I'm talking about specifically these 3. Russia was a powerful country. It united 2 different ethnic groups into one to be a force against the Pink Team. Yes, the Pink Team no longer exists, but those ethnic groups have kind of merged into one. If you remember, the Orange Team stems from I can't believe I'm saying. The Orange Team stems from these guys. Yes, I'm talking about one of the oldest countries in the series. Yes, I know. But these guys, Russia, is part of the Orange Team ethnic group branch. That broke into 2. It kind of broke apart into 2 different ethnic groups, and it's kind of merged back together. But after World War III, Russia just simply collapsed. It couldn't hold it. Was it World War III? Yeah. After World War III, Russia collapsed. It couldn't keep itself together. But now that they've kind of developed again, they want to reunite. I just realised, is that the remains of a nuke? I think that is. They want to reunite. Only problem is, they want to reunite the entire thing, which would include all these guys. However, the Baltics and this guy have moved on. They have moved on from Russia. So, yeah, it's just going to be these 3. So, with this, Russia is officially making its return. I had this planned. I wanted to bring back Russia, so don't be shocked. Russia is back. And their capital will be the capital of the Purple Team. Oh, these borders are something. So Russia has just returned. That's great. Russia was a pretty strong country, and these 2 are definitely going to have good relations. Anyway, I just want to mention, with the War of Freedom being over, the world is entering a new stage. The age of unity. Countries who used to be together in a union are looking at each other and going, we should probably reunite into that union. And yes, they are we just saw Russia reunite. Now, ethnic groups uniting, that's not going to happen. Different ethnic groups uniting, that was the one thing Russia had different, and it was still kind of the same ethnic group. Africa, okay, I shouldn't even mention Africa. But the world is free. I mean, the people are free from these fascist governments. Almost free. Yeah, the communists, yeah. But not everything can go well. Because, this is world we're talking about. The governments will always get corrupted. We can officially, I want to do this now. But with the end of World War IV, I want to do a power rankings. Probably going to do this a bit different than I do normally. I'm going to do it with lists. So the strongest country in the world right now is Mesopotamia. Their economy, huge. They have a lot of oil. Their military is huge. Population, huge. You're taking the Middle East and, like, it's not as developed as the Middle East, but maybe it is, I don't know. Mesopotamia is definitely the strongest country in this world. At number 2, shockingly, is America. America's come a long way. They were 4 separate countries who united together, and they have gained a ton of land. They have been gaining, like, a ton of population. Their economy is booming. They're definitely going up there with, like, some of the strongest countries in the world. Number 3, Algeria. The former country of Morocco. Algeria. They have become... I would say they've become stronger than Morocco. They basically influence... Now, Mesopotamia, these guys all have an influence, but this country has probably the biggest influence. If I were to show you what it looked like, it would look something like this. Now, South Africa has influence around here, even though they're not the strongest. But they're strong. Like, don't underestimate them. At number 4, we have the South Chinese Union. Again, this thing has just whoop since it united. Who knew that uniting would benefit you? At number 5, we actually have Siberia. I really don't know if I should switch the names to call this Siberia and this something else. Ever since these guys gained that land from Korea, they have been living it. We'll get to them in a minute. We're going to talk about them. And number 6, we see Red Australia making it onto the list. Definitely an interesting one, but they've made it onto the list. Not the best, like, instability-wise, but, you know, they're okay. At number 7, we have Finland. These guys have probably remained in the top 10 for the longest time. They've never they've had losses, but Finland has really never had something to compete with them. And number 8 is the Celtic Union. Yep, this is no doubt. Celtic Union is a very strong country now, considering how much land they own. I know it's Celtic, but I like calling it Celtic. Here's where, though, there is a gap. There is a gap between number 8 and 9, like a big gap. It's not a huge gap, but it's definitely a significant gap between powers. Mostly because I have no idea who'd actually be number 9. Who would be number 9? I'm gonna say China. Yeah, they're not developed. Like, they're not as developed, but they're strong. Like, they're not weak. And then number 10, I'd put Vietnam. Like, honestly, I'd definitely put Vietnam. There's your top 10. Finland's still going strong. Like, gotta give it to them. They're one of my favourites, but, you know, they're still going strong. Speaking of Siberia, they're moving their capital. Now, yes, they've had their capital here since they were formed. They're an old country, I know that. But they developed up here. But since they got the land in Korea, they've moved down here and developed this land. And it's got to a point where the capital city being here makes no sense. It is not as developed, and it just makes more sense for the capital to be down here now. So yes, they'll be moving their capital, and that looks really weird. Siberia will be moving their capital. Does not mean that the people who live up here, this is definitely still a populated area, does not mean they're not going to focus on this area. They are going to focus on it, okay? Don't take that into perspective. Anyway, now what should we see? I wouldn't really say there'd be many wars that break out after this. Because, it was a world war. But I think the first logical war to break out after this is, well, Brazil. Brazil is going to be expanding into the red team. Ah, yes, the red team. I don't even know what these. Who do they come from? I honestly don't remember. It's probably the baby blue team or burgundy team. The blue team, Brazil will invade them, and honestly, Brazil has just free will of this continent. Nobody here is strong enough to stop them. America is kind of getting weird that they could be slowly starting to, like, get match for power, but they're not. Don't worry, they're not. So we see them capturing the capital, and honestly, I'm just going to say that there's no chance of this country. And, full annexation. Yep, that seems right for a fascist country. Anyway, it's time for something. Now, this is unexpected, but it's been on the road happening for a while. I think I left the capital of a country. We'll fix that later. There are countries who have benefited from World War IV, but there is always those countries who don't benefit. And that is unfortunately going to be happening with the remains of the Central Asian Union. They should never have joined the war. It didn't profit them. They gained no land. Just want to point that out. They gained no land. They kind of got some things in the peace treaty, but that definitely mostly went to these guys. And unfortunately, the Central Asian Union is just going to collapse. It collapses, it just collapses. It was already unstable and it was already on the road to collapse. But it fully collapses, and almost immediately these guys are like, ooh, free land. But immediately Mesopotamia is like, no, let's divide this thing up logically. So let's take a look how they divide up the Central Asian Union. It's not even the Central Asian Union anymore. Let me just fix. You know what? Just forget it. I was going to give these guys land, but I've decided that I'm not going to give them land. Sorry. I mean, they're new. I don't think they'll gain land from this. But yes, here we see that the Central Asian Union is sadly going to be finally put to rest. This is going to go over to the Mesopotamians. Surprisingly, they actually gave a good amount of land to their allies. Now, these are their allies, so, they're going to give land to them. But we can see here that the countries who gained the most land are probably the red team Mesopotamia. Kind of weird because they're the strongest. But, the yellow team definitely still gained a good chunk of land. The red team, Jesus Christ. These borders, yikes, okay. Yep, that's certainly, okay. We'll just leave that. Anyway, Central Asia is looking a lot more cleaned up now that Central Asian Union's gone. In fact, Asia as a whole is definitely coming together. It's becoming less and less. I think my biggest problem with Asia in this series is it was very divided to begin with. But I definitely think I fixed it. To begin with, I didn't really have a plan for the series, but I have a plan for the series now. But I think I have kind of saved Asia. It was there was a lot of colours. It kind of was like a blur to look at. This looks a lot better to look at now, especially because there's not, 5 big countries here. You still got the big countries like Russia. You still got the big countries like, the Green Team, Siberia, South Chinese Union, and Mesopotamia, but there are always going to be strong countries in the world. Anyway, for our last event in this video, the Lion Team's going to go be... No, that's the bucket, no. We're not giving the Lion Team, Jesus Christ, no. The Lion Team's going to be invading somebody. Weird, considering it's only been a year, maybe a few months since that leader's been put into power. She's going to be invading the Green Team. Green Team? I guess it is kind of green. This Gold Team, this thing is weak as hell. It was a military uprising, and it became an independent nation. The Lion Team wants it back, and they're going to be able to take it back and fully annex it. It was a war that Mesopotamia doesn't care about. It was a country that really had no use. So just like that, Lion Team is expanded. They might be back on the rise. I assure you they're not. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed. See you next one. Bye.